Welcome, welcome. We see everyone logging in right now. Just give us a second so we can have everyone here before we kick off for today. It is wonderful to see you at Teach for LA. We are thrilled that you are here. My name is Renee Marshall. As I said, just give us a minute as everybody's logging in and getting their sound going.
Sure.
If you could please also mute yourself as you're joining, that would be fantastic. If you have any issues, just wave a hand or something, let us know. We'll be happy to help you moderate. We'll just wait about 2 more minutes. We see everybody's joining right now. We're at 140 of us. This is wonderful. For those of you who are at our last Teach for LA, we actually had a glitch with Zoom that capped us at 100. So I'm so glad that that glitch is not happening today. Thank you to Leah Martinez for your leadership and making sure our technology is good to go. We appreciate it. Let's take another maybe 1 minute until we officially kick off. We have more people coming in right now. Let's go ahead and get going. I know we've got some more people coming in, but we also have a really robust schedule for today and not that much time to be together for our kickoff. So we want to make sure that we can all get everything in this quick hour and a half. So welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to Teach for LA. We are so thrilled that you are here today. My name is Renee Marshall, and I have the honor of being our conference producer for Teach for LA. I was actually thinking about it today. I think this is maybe my 4th or 5th Teach for LA I've produced, maybe even more, I don't know. But anyways, thrilled to have you here. One of the points of Teach for LA is to basically bring as much access as possible to anyone who's interested in the field of education. So you might be a teacher right now. You might be thinking about being a teacher. You could be somebody who's considering being a school counselor or an after-school provider, going into extended care, maybe becoming a principal, being a preschool teacher, being a faculty member. If there is being a speech pathologist, anything in the field of education. If you're interested in anything in the field of education, Teach for LA is here for you. We've got a little bit of conference logistics we want to get into and make sure to discuss with everybody before we get to our keynote today. I'm also super excited to share with you a little secret. Only like one of our attendees knows this, but I want to let you know that we've decided we're going to do an opportunity drawing tonight in addition to Wednesday night. So if you are able to stay on up through the very end of our session tonight, which wraps at 7 o'clock, then you will be eligible for our opportunity drawing. We have 6 different prizes we're giving away tonight. And then on Wednesday, I need to check count, but last count we were over about 14 or 15 on Thursday. So we're excited to do that with everyone. I love that I see people already being active in the chat. That is fantastic. I'm actually going to even give you a little bit of a prompt right now because we want to know a little bit about you. So please share your name, share what school you're coming from. If you're not in school right now, no worries. We're thrilled you're here. You can say I'm going to become a student or I'm a current teacher, or just let us know a little bit about you. Also, please let us know, what are you excited about for this Teach for LA? So we're just thrilled to have everybody have a chance to come together. Destiny, it's great to see you. I love when I see people in the chat talking. I already see a question in the chat that I want to make sure I address. Thank you so much. I see, is this same Zoom that we're going to use for all the sessions? Absolutely not. One of the things we need to do is a unique Zoom link for every single one of our 24 workshops, because we need to make sure that it's a safe space. And so we looked into using like a conference platform. They're pretty expensive. And so we kind of took our funding and utilized it in a different way. But please, please, please just know that later tonight when we get off from this call, from this part of the conference, I will send an email to everybody that will have all of the links for Tuesday. And then on Tuesday night, I will send another email that will have all of our links for Wednesday. Please, please, please do not share your links. Just share my email with everybody, and we are happy to add anyone who's interested into Teach for LA anytime over the 3-day conference. I'm happy to report that we closed our conference registration at 12 noon today, and between 12 noon and 5:30, we had another 20 people email to join us, and we added every single one of them. We are a 100% inclusive group. We will try our best to get everybody in throughout the whole conference. So if you have any colleagues or friends that you think want to join us, or maybe you come and you like what you see tonight, you go to a class tomorrow and you're like, oh my gosh, everybody needs to go. Please, please, please just go ahead. I'm going to put my email in the chat. My name is Renee Marshall, And we are absolutely here to allow everybody into this conference. It's really important to us. So my email's there. Before we get into the leadership team, I do just want to do a brief introduction. My name is Renee Marshall, and I have the honor of supporting the colleges that are in the Los Angeles Regional Consortium. And we have a variety of colleges. There's 19 total. There's 16 of the 19 that participate with us and teach. And our goal is to basically bring resources to anybody who's interested in the field of education, and not just resources. We try to bring free resources as much as possible. We also try to make it where we try to make it so it's not stressful for you. So like, for instance, we had a student who really wanted to be here tonight and she had a class. We know that she has a conflict. She can't miss class to come to opening session. So we're recording it right now, or we're going to get this up on the Teach for LA YouTube channel as soon as we can. So that way, if you miss a session and you still want to check it out, no problem. It's going to be accessible for you. So I'm going to hand it over right now to Megan Kaplinsky so she could introduce herself, and then hand it over to the rest of our team.
Hi, everyone. So glad to see so many faces. I've been reading the chat, love hearing everyone's story. So welcome today. My name is Megan Kaplinsky. I get to teach education classes and be department head at Long Beach City College for the reading and teacher preparation department. So glad to see you here, and so glad to be part of a team that does this wonderful event for so many. So thank you. I'll hand it off to Leah.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Leah Martinez, and I'm so happy to see all of you here. I'm from Rio Hondo College, and great to see so many students here from Rio Hondo, Cerritos, El Camino, and everyone in LA region. Thank you.
Let's go ahead and hand it over to Yadira Ariano now so she can introduce herself as well.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Renee. My name is Yadira Arellano, professor at El Camino College and at Rio Hondo. I'm so glad to have you all here. As you guys all saw, we all come together, all the colleges, and we're just really, really happy to have all of you here. For my students who are logging in from my class, welcome. This is the big event, and so I'm so happy to have you here.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Yadira. I saw in the chat too, we already had a question asking if we're able to upload immediately after sessions. I'm going to be totally real. We're like a grassroots group of people, and so we will absolutely get it uploaded as soon as we can. Realistically, you have to give us a little bit of time. So I'm going to say, like, tonight's session should be uploaded by tomorrow, hopefully early in the morning. And then tomorrow we just upload as fast as we can throughout the day. So it's a little bit, it's not like we've got this tech guru who their entire job is to just upload as we go. I wish I could say that's the case. We're pretty grassroots, and so we're doing it ourselves, but just give us some time and we will absolutely make sure that we have it up there. One thing I want to point out, I said this via email, but I want to make sure I share it with everybody as well. There are 2 specific sessions that we have coming up that cannot be recorded. So there's 2 sessions on Tuesday coming from CalSTRS. CalSTRS is in charge of all the retirement for pretty much almost all the teachers in California. And because they're a state agency, they're not allowed to record their session, because if information changes, they need to be able to change it for the new people without having misinformation online. So if you're interested in anything related to your financial future or retirement decisions, those 2 sessions tomorrow, you want to go to those face-to-face. If you have a conflict and you cannot go to those face-to-face, please reach out to me, because I know that our partners from CalSTRS would absolutely meet with you one-on-one or in a small group to give you whatever information that you missed. So please make sure to reach out, because we are absolutely here for you, and really excited for this. So I want to talk just for a little bit about the origin of Teach for LA. And Leah Martinez, would you like to say this, or is it okay for me to say it? Okay, excellent. Teach for LA came about quite a few years ago when we received some strong workforce funding for the Los Angeles region. And we thought, you know what, it would be really, really helpful to have a face-to-face conference where everybody can come together for a day and we can learn as much as possible about what you need to teach for LA. A lot of our workshops are not specific to Los Angeles. They're really for anybody going into the field of education. But we are hosting this conference because we really want to make sure that the Los Angeles area constantly has a pipeline of highly qualified educators. And so so our goal was to create this conference, everybody comes together, and we have a chance to get as much information out as possible. Well, we have run this conference face-to-face pre-pandemic, and it was a blessing of a conference. We had over 300 people participate in the one-day event. We hosted it, I believe we were at Rio Hondo when we did it face-to-face. We had a great keynote, really exciting conference. And then the pandemic happened. And so we were kind of faced with, okay, we're not allowed to do this face-to-face. So what is this going to look like moving forward? And so the pandemic allowed us to turn a one-day conference that has a positive impact on 300 people into a multi-day conference that now usually has an impact on over 500 people. And so when we get to the end of the conference on Wednesday, we're going to give you a conference survey to ask you to complete. One of the things we're going to be asking is, do we want this conference to stay in the virtual space, or do we want to consider going into a face-to-face conference in fall? And so also, just so everybody knows, this is contingent upon us getting funding. Our funding for this project actually wraps in June. So we will need to get additional funding in order to do a fall conference. But our goal is to keep the programming coming, because we really want to make sure that the workforce, the teacher workforce in the Los Angeles area, is strong and consistent. And so we want to give a shout out to a strong workforce program that comes from our California Community College Chancellor's Office. The Chancellor's Office is supportive of teacher preparation, and they do a really good job of having some kind of pockets of funding that we go to look for opportunities to produce conferences like this and other resources. So we are thrilled that you're here. Thank you to our Chancellor's Office for the support. Thank you to Strong Workforce, and also thank you to Teach LARC and all of our regional colleagues for supporting what we do. Okay, little bit of housekeeping, and then we're going to get to our exciting keynote. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And I love seeing stuff in the chat. Please know that we also capture chat every single time. So I already saw somebody in the chat go, okay, I love this conference, but I'm in this area and I need this to be virtual so I can make it. So let us know, because we're listening. Please know that we absolutely are listening. So what do we have offered over the next 3 days? So we've got today, and then we've got all day tomorrow, and all day Wednesday. We have 24 workshops coming to you over the next few days here, and we are so excited. We've tried our best to have quite a few sessions that would be relevant depending on whatever you're thinking about. You want to be a special ed teacher, you want to be a bilingual ed teacher, you want to be a STEM teacher, that we have things for you. So want to also let everybody know that at this point we have over 650 people registered for the conference. So you're going to see a variety of people over the course of the week. If you have any friends or colleagues that you think would like to join us, you absolutely just give them my email. I'm putting in the chat again right now. And again, I'm Renee Marshall, and I'm happy to add everybody. I will be sleeping for a little bit tonight. So if somebody emails me at 1 in the morning, I probably won't add you until 6 a.m. Do not worry. Do not worry. You will be added. But I'm really excited. This is going to be a great day. I also want to make a note for everybody too. You know, one of the goals of Teach for LA is engagement and coming together. And so if you are in a session and your presenter utilizes chat, or they utilize Jamboard, or they utilize any sort of way to engage, please engage with them. I'm also going to challenge you. Any point that you have a moment that you are able to be on screen and seen, please, please, please. We don't care if your makeup's done. We don't care if you are working somewhere where you're on a break and you've got a child crawling on you, or maybe you're a dad or a mom and you've got your children with you. Guess what? We are here to be inclusive. You show up as you are. Part of what we do is accepting people as the humans that they are. And it doesn't make sense that we would be like not wanting you to have kids around when a lot of us focus on children in our lives. So please come and be who you are, where you are at the moment of, or whatever moment you're able to join us for the conference, and know that you are supported. This conference is about engagement. It's about coming together. So when we can see you, when you interact, please know that that is always, always a benefit to us and to the conference in general. I also want to let everybody know, I know that some of you that are on right now are fieldwork students engaging in an introduction to teaching course. Many of you at a college level. We know that it's really been challenging to get fieldwork opportunities directly in classrooms right now. So one of the things that we have done with the Teach for LA schedule is every single session that is facilitated by a credentialed teacher is noted. So that way, if you need to go and do observations for your fieldwork class, Teach for LA is one way that you can do that. And I appreciate all our presenters being so flexible. In the virtual space, we really had to pivot and do some different things with our lab opportunities for our future teachers. And so this is one way that we have created some opportunities. So if it says Session is presented by a credentialed teacher. That means that if you need it for fieldwork, it should count. Double check with your college by all means. But right now, CTC and Department of Ed, we have a lot of flexibilities within fieldwork and practicum right now. So we want to utilize those flexibilities while they're needed. Another thing we want to make sure to share with everybody, we love giveaways, and that is a huge part of what we do. We've got lots and lots of training over the next 2 days by all means, but we're going to start off the night after our keynote speaker, we're going to have a little bit of a surprise opportunity drawing this evening, and then on Wednesday we will also have another opportunity drawing. Please know for the opportunity drawing, you absolutely need to be present. We will have you do a very quick Google form during the keynote in order to help put your name on what we call the wheel of names. And that's the way we do our opportunity drawing. So please be on the lookout for that. And when we put it in the chat, we're going to tell you the exact specific timing that you need to do it by. We cannot add names after a certain point. So stay with us. We have an exciting keynote, but we also have some really fun opportunity drawing later on. I also just got a private chat message asking about a certificate for the conference. Do not worry, everybody. If you attend the conference, you absolutely will be eligible for a certificate. What will happen is on our closing session on Wednesday night, we will put the conference survey up at that point on the conference survey. That is where you fill in to say that you would like a certificate. And then you also showcase how much that you attended during the conference, because we need to make sure that everything's clean. So when we give you a certificate, it accounts for the time that you were actually present in sessions. If for some reason you cannot make it on Wednesday night, do not worry. We will absolutely send the survey out after, and we will ask anybody on that survey to who wants a certificate to indicate it there. So you will have 2 different opportunities, but you will receive 1 certificate for the entire conference, not section by section or presenter by presenter. So thank you so much for whoever asked that. I appreciate it. I also want to let everybody know this conference is a choose your own adventure conference. I hope people know that reference. That was a style of books that was around that I still love to this day. But the idea is, we're not expecting you to go to 24 sessions. We're expecting you to look at the conference schedule like you would at a true face-to-face conference, where you go, oh, at 3 o'clock, here's where I want to be. And at 2 o'clock, here's where I want to be. And you know what? That session at 12 noon, that one's not relevant for me, so I'm going to take a break during that time. Or that session at 8 o'clock, 7 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday night doesn't work for me. So maybe I'll check that one out later. But you really need to choose what works for you. We have a variety of wonderful presenters. You're going to get a lot of different great information. Please remember, a lot of these sessions will be recorded and up on the Teach for LA YouTube channel after the fact. But please be live for whatever you're able to as well. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to give you a challenge. And I said this earlier, to put your camera on. I would like to challenge everybody to have their cameras on at as many of your sessions as possible, even if it is morning and you've just rolled out of bed and you're sitting there in your pajamas or whatever. Like I said, we are not here to judge you. We're here to be together and to really have a good time together. So we're almost ready for our keynote speaker, Woodcraft Rangers CEO Julee Brooks. She's going to share about extended care opportunities and really get everybody fired up to just come into the field of education and be here. But before we have Julie start and before we have our keynote, I want to just share really briefly about everything that we have in store for the next 2 days. I don't even think I can read all these because it's going to be so many. But okay, so tomorrow we kick off with practicum and fieldwork first thing in the morning. There's a workshop on career planning. If you're thinking about what kind of resume do I need, how do I interview, that kind of stuff, you want to go to the career planning. After that, we have CalSTRS coming in to talk about retirement. Now, some of you might say to yourself, wait a second, CalSTRS, my retirement system, I'm in my 20s. Why do I even need to think about retiring? Or I'm in my 50s and doing a career change. Why do I need to think about retiring? Or I'm 32. Why would I even think about retiring? Guess what? There is a falsehood in TK through 12 that you should wait to learn about your retirement. And we are here to break that falsehood down and change the narrative. Smart people plan their financial future from the moment they are entering into a career. Retirement is not a second thought. And I'm one of the reasons I'm pushing this. I love that Jessica said, I wish I thought about retirement in my 20s. Jessica, when I was in K through 12, I was constantly told, Renee, you're too young. You don't need to learn about it now. Just wait till you're in your 50s or wait till you're ready to retire. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait a second. Why am I waiting? So last year I was 47 years old. I'm now 48. And I decided to sit down with counselors and have a meeting. And I had a strategic meeting that literally outlined what the next 20 years of my career should look like in order to maximize how much I will be able to retire with. So a lot of times when we talk about the field of education, people will say things like, we don't get paid enough, and don't get me wrong, like by all means, we want to be paid as much as possible, but be smart about your money when it comes to your career. Learn early how to maximize your financial future as much as possible. So please, if you're on the fence, do I need to go check out this retirement one from CalSTRS? Go in there and check it out. Just get to know CalSTRS a little bit. I was so stunned when I met with them. I'm going to be totally honest, because I ended up being in better shape than I realized. And so please have a chance. Go check that out tomorrow. I also see some people that are asking about Zoom links. You will get the Zoom links for Tuesday later tonight. You will get Wednesday Zoom links not until Tuesday night. We can't give everything out at once because then people share it and then we have Zoom bombers and then it becomes an unsafe space. So please, please, please know that the Zoom links are coming. It'll be a bit at a time. You'll get lots of emails with reminders. So please be patient, but I promise you, you will get them all. I also want to talk about a couple other presenters that we have coming in tomorrow. We've got somebody coming in to talk about math phobia. Now, some of you may say, oh, why do I need to learn about math phobia? I'm going to be a college professor. I'm going to go into early childhood education or TK through 12. And guess what? I love math. Math phobia is something we encounter all the time. If it's not you, it is your students, guaranteed. And if you are anybody who's in the early childhood education field, I can tell you for a fact, I was a chair for a while, that is the number one thing that my students would tell me. They go, oh, I'm afraid of math, or I'm worried about math. And so it's time to break down the math phobia. Get in there tomorrow and learn how do you help students overcome phobias in the classroom. We've got a great professor or a great teacher that's coming in to do that. I'm excited. We also have some information sessions tomorrow from Cal State Long Beach coming in to talk about their liberal studies and ITEP program. We've got one of my very, very favorite people in the world. Her name is Gina Peterson, and she's not just a colleague, she is a friend of mine. And Gina's coming in to do a session on careers in early childhood education. We also have a session on highlights of a special education teacher, how to make decisions about retirement for later on. So if you are faculty or you're currently a teacher and you're like, wait a second, I need to learn about retirement, absolutely make sure to come in to the CalSTRS session tomorrow afternoon on my retirement decisions. Okay, now those of you that are in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, my retirement decisions is absolutely for us. Anybody 30 and older, if you're younger than that, please know you're absolutely included and are welcome to come as well. You just might go into that and go, wait a second, I'm not sure if this one's totally relevant for me. That's okay. It's okay to go to a session and realize it's not a right match and leave, or to stay and just kind of see, a little bit about professional learning. I see that more people are asking about registering. You are now registered for the conference and you will get every single link, but you get them incrementally. So your Wednesday links will come out Tuesday night. Your Tuesday links will come out on Monday night. Okay, a couple other things for tomorrow. We also have Cal State Northridge coming in to talk about their liberal studies and credential program. I received one of my degrees from Cal State Northridge. It's a great school. We also have tomorrow evening, something I'm really excited about. We've got our student panel. We've got students from a variety of our colleges coming in to share about their experiences on the pathway to teaching. Usually our student panel is one of the most inspirational moments of the conference. And so if you're able to make it tomorrow night, tomorrow evening, please join us for our student panel. It should be inspirational. And lastly, tomorrow night, I'm really excited because we even have a 7 to 8 p.m. session for those who are interested in doing a later evening session. I'm really excited about this because this session is going to focus on the importance of play, the necessity of play. And it's really going to be talking about what it means when you're a child life specialist and when you're working with children and kind of what that role entails. And so I really appreciate that because a lot of times we think that play is not valuable, but there are people who literally their entire career revolves around being a play specialist and really helping children who are in critical moments of their life to still find joy and to still find happiness. And so this might be a session you might want to check out. That's happening tomorrow night. And then we go into Wednesday. Oh my gosh. And Wednesday is totally packed as well. Wednesday, we kick off with NASA and STEM, first thing in the morning. There's a really, really cool project happening at Cerritos College, and we hope that you join us. After the NASA session, we have something that is incredibly imperative for everyone: mindfulness with educators. We are seeing people stressed out unlike anything we have ever seen. So we want to make sure that we take some time to relax, to learn some strategies for breathing, to learn some strategies to decompress. We also have some support for that Mindfulness for Educators workshop. We are specifically giving away some of our opportunity drawing items that are specifically for mindfulness and promote that as much as possible. And so we just want to make sure everybody, keep that in mind. I also am excited to say on Wednesday, we have a session on building emotional bonds with children. And I'm really excited because that session is actually led by a male educator, which I think is really important to have that blend. My girlfriend Cynthia, Cynthia Cervantes, I shouldn't say girlfriend, my colleague Cynthia Cervantes is coming in talking about got equity. Does it include parents? I'm a parent of 2 children that are 15 years old that are in dual enrollment. We need some more parent input. And so I love this idea where Cynthia is going to be talking about when we're creating equitable environments, what role do parents, caregivers, and families play? After that, we have a session on how do you become a junior high, middle school, or high school teacher. We have another session on child development permits, the 6 different levels of permits that are available, and certification, what's involved in that. I am super excited for the session after permits because our keynote from tonight will actually be part of the team giving that session. And that session is Summer Programs, the perfect paid learning lab for future educators. I'm really excited about this because there are so many employment opportunities for future teachers right now. And so we're going to get into those. That's going to be great. We also have a session on science and social justice and how that can work together. We have a session on inclusive home spaces for early childhood education. And I love this. So the presenter is calling this inclusive and home-like spaces that scream, please touch me, please explore. Because when we're talking about little kids, we need them to explore and to be fearless and to get out there. And Liz is going to teach us a bit about that tomorrow. Tomorrow early evening, we're going to get into, Wednesday early evening, we get into the CPTP Mentoring Network and the importance of networking and how creating a community is essential for teachers to be successful. And then we will get ready to wrap up our conference with a closing session. And so it's going to go very, very quickly, everybody. Be here for as much as you can. We will email you as recordings are available, but you've got to make sure everybody gives us some time because it will take us time to get those going. I'll go ahead in the chat once more and put the recording link for when the time comes. Oh, wait, Leah already did it and put it on there. Great. Thank you so much, Leah. So with that, I would now like to take a few minutes to introduce the most wonderful of wonderful people. Our keynote tonight is really special. I had the chance to actually go out to breakfast with her a couple months ago when we were trying to figure out, like, are we going to have good synergy points? Like, is there's a chance to collaborate? Could community colleges and expanded care do more together? And Julie was like, absolutely. She's innovative. She's smart as a whip. She's fun. She's nice. She's the kind of person that you want to work with. She's the kind of person that you dream of having as a boss or somebody as a supervisor. I'm really excited for her to be here today. I'm going to go ahead and read her formal bio so that way everybody has Julie's background. If there's anybody who's not muted right now, if you have a chance to mute, that would be great. I also want to encourage you at the end of when Julie's speaking today, if you have any questions, she's open to answering, doing some Q&A. So please, please, please feel free to post questions in the chat or, just unmute and raise your hand or whatnot. Indicate that you have a question and let us know. Julee Brooks. Julee Brooks, CEO, joined Woodcraft Rangers in February 2018, where she proudly guides service to over 15,000 youth in Los Angeles Title I schools. She does this through after-school care programs, summer programs, and outdoor education programs. Julie is a first-generation college student from a small town in Kentucky who's passionate about whole child development and education equity. Julie's past roles include the executive director of the Los Angeles Ronald McDonald House, the museum director of the Zimmer's Children's Museum, which is now called the Caton Children's Museum, and executive director of director of education at Nashville Children's Theater, where she led each agency through periods of transformational change. Some of Julie's proudest work includes leading a coalition of after-school providers in Los Angeles County, working toward local policy advancement for youth creating access and inclusion initiatives, including We All Play, which was a model program for the American Association of Museums, Museums for All initiative, and developing innovative programs for children on the autism spectrum in partnership with Vanderbilt University. Julee Brooks holds an MFA in Theater for Youth from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro and a bachelor's degree in Dramatic Arts and Government from Centre College. She lives in Valencia with her husband Ross and their 2 sons and their fiercely friendly rescue pup Hazel. With that, I would like to welcome Julee as our keynote speaker for Teach for LA.
Wow, Renee, how do I even follow that? So thank you for those kind words. So lovely to be here. And wow, 244 and rising in this room. So it is such a pleasure to be here. It is such an exciting time in education in the state of California. And we've come off and are still in the midst of some of the craziest times I think we've ever seen. But thank you, Renee. Lovely words, and what a beautiful introduction. So I am thrilled to be here to share more about what's happening in expanded learning. I think how the entire pre-K through 12th education system is uniting around a shift in what we hope is a focus on the whole child. So I'm going to share my screen if that's okay, and we'll get going. So,
Julee, do you have share screen capabilities?
I think I do.
Okay, excellent.
Oh no, I've been disabled.
Okay, Leia's going to get you going as shared, and then if you have any issues, Megan, we have your PowerPoint also, so we can load it and run it if we need to.
I am the co-host now.
Beautiful.
I have all the power. All
Also,
right.
Julee, real quick, I hope you don't mind me reminding everybody, we're going to be putting in the chat the survey link for the opportunity drawing. So please, excuse me, not the survey link, the opportunity link drawing. So please make sure to fill that out. We're going to require that everybody has that filled out by 6:30 in order to be in tonight's opportunity drawing. So please be watching the chat. Thank you so much, Julee. We're so excited for you today.
Yeah, thank you. So, so tonight we're going to talk about a lot of the exciting things that are happening in education, and what is going to be, I think, both a golden opportunity for teachers right now and teachers that are coming into education in California in the next few years. So it is such it's so fun watching the chat now, seeing all of the teachers in training, new teachers, current teachers, counselors, every early childhood educators. So what a joy to be here. So Woodcraft Rangers, I'll tell you a little bit more about us, but the title of my talk tonight is Get Ready, How Pre-K through 12th grade education in California is shaping up to serve the whole child. And it is an exciting time where expanded learning, early childhood education, K-12 education, higher education can all work together toward what I think are some really ambitious goals that California has to reprioritize education. So, so here we go. Get ready. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Woodcraft Rangers first. So I am the CEO of Woodcraft Rangers. We've been in Los Angeles for 100 years. This is our centennial, serving youth. And Renee is correct. Every year we serve about 15,000, but it is growing because there are significant investments being made in expanded learning, as well as a variety of other components in the pre-K through 12 ecosystem in California. But I want to give you a little insight about us. We were formally founded as an organization in 1922 in Los Angeles. We have served only Los Angeles all those 100 years, so for a century. We have a really interesting history. We actually so our formal seal and the documents were filed in 1922, but in 1915 we were already a youth development agency. We were in outdoor education and scouting. So in 1915, the Boy Scouts brought all the scouting agencies together and wanted to create a single scouting entity in the United States. And we actually broke away from the Boy Scouts in the very beginning because we were whole child developmentalists. We believed that all programs serving youth needed to be youth-led. Youth needed to be active agents in defining their own paths, exploring their own purpose and their own interests and our own passions. We also were dedicated to equity and inclusion from the very beginning in 1922. So as we like to say, We share a progressive spirit with our mother city. And we became kind of, for the next 50 years, the rogue progressive scouting agency on the West Coast, because we believed that scouting should be at the time, right? We were really, the formal education system in America was just beginning to take shape at that time. So youth development and scouting was where a lot of kids became educated and explored their interests and developed their whole selves. So we actually we were coeducational, we were low cost, mostly free, and we were inclusive to a variety of racial and ethnic backgrounds at a time where programs were often not accessible to many of those populations. So we've been on the side of equity and access and inclusion for actually exactly 100 years as we celebrate our centennial. But most importantly to this conversation is we've also been whole child developments the entire time. We operate by a philosophy called the Woodcraft Way. It is a whole child methodology before the words whole child methodology existed. And you'll see here that it, to us, encompasses development of 4 areas of young people: their bodies, their minds, their spirits, and their commitment to their communities, to society, and to their friends and schools. So an element of service as well. So we actually continue to do youth programs, scouting programs on school campuses through the early 1990s. Some of you may know that scouting and outdoor education has a history of Native American appropriation. In the early decades, there was significant use of sacred elements. And in the early 1990s, we were approached by Indigenous leaders in Los Angeles County, and they let us know, right, that those kinds of inclusion of sacred elements was painful and inappropriate. And that's the moment where we dropped scouting. We sunsetted it overnight, and we moved into a secular after-school programmatic model in 1991, still utilizing the social capital and the relationships that we built over decades with youth in Los Angeles, but leaving behind a painful past, because like Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you must do better. And I'm proud that this agency has always learned from its mistakes and grown in ways that that we wish a lot of agencies would. So I'm proud of that past as well. So we kind of were we're a little bit of the elder statesmen of expanded learning. We were doing after school before after school was really a thing. And it was, we developed our own after school program in 1991. So if you were familiar with the state expanded learning after school programs, those came into effect in 2004. So we were about a decade ahead of that happening in California. Our founder, Ernest Thompson Seton, he wrote a book on whole child development, not the book, a book on whole child development. And he believed, though, that it really is about development, right? That education is about developing whole children. So in his words, he says the aim of education is maturity, not scholarship, right? Scholarship is a piece of it. But what we're looking for is fully functioning humans, right? Fully functioning adults that are emotionally grounded, socially adept, and also, also have the cognitive and development that we I think often prioritize in a K-12 setting. So all of those pieces, not to mention strong bodies as well. So that's a little history of how we got here in Woodcraft Rangers in Los Angeles doing youth development and being such fierce and passionate advocates for whole child development. So right now, I think, as many of you know, are heading into teaching or in classrooms right now, we are at an inflection point, right? As a country, as a state, all of us, right? Almost as a species, right? And progress, right? We are seeing an emerging consciousness when it comes to issues of equity, of how race and class and gender work in this country, of what what systems are really supporting and essential. And so there's, with that emerging consciousness, right, there is an opportunity for progress, right, to really look at what do we want to be teaching our children and how do we want our children to be emerging as leaders for this next generation. But I will say, right, progress is always met with resistance, always, right? So one of my favorite quotes, right, is well-behaved women rarely make history, right? And that's true of men too. Well-behaved men rarely make history too, right? So, well, maybe sometimes. So, but what the point is right, when you push against systems that exist, there's always going to be resistance. But this is a moment where there are cracks in a system that maybe needs a little pushing, right? So it's an exciting time that we can refocus on children's needs and also evolve toward needs that have changed for children right now, because this generation of youth is in a moment of recovery. Frankly, we all are, right? So we've had a few years where there have been compounding pandemics, right? So, a social justice situation that is also evolving. But certainly the COVID-19 has highlighted issues of inequity that I think many of us in education knew long existed, but there's a greater consciousness of that. But also the isolation has resulted in significant social and emotional needs among our young people, right? It's really a mental health pandemic as well. So that's a lot, right? That's a lot for our young people to go through. It's a lot for us to be able to care for and guide in this next generation. And some of those impacts, we won't know really what they are for a long time, right? And children are not alone, right? We are going through it too. So it's important that we look at both the caregivers, the educators, the mentors and supporters, and as well as the youth themselves. Right now, right, there's a lot going on. A lot of people are leaving every industry, and education is not immune, right? Leadership transitions are happening, but there's a rising, emboldened workforce that's coming up in most industries, and education is also not immune to that. So it's exciting to see educators advocate for students, for families, and for themselves in ways that I think, really in louder voices than we've seen in generations past. And all of this, right, is leading to changes in values and priorities. And this year, we're going to talk a little bit about the budget that's happening in California. And in our world, in our state, in our country, budgets are values, right? They're illustrations of values. And we're going to talk about how we have centered education in this budget in California, putting value on it that we haven't seen in generations. Education is at the center of this in California. And it's an exciting time that we are investing in children like we haven't seen for generations. But as a whole child advocate, right, I've got a great little Aristotle quote here. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. I'm sure that's one that you guys know, but it's a good one to come back to. And I think it's really important at this moment, as we've got this generation that's in significant need of us caring for their bodies, minds, spirits, and connecting them to community again, as this is a challenging moment for that too. So there is this chance to build an education system that is stronger, that is more student-centered, and that focuses on the whole child. Necessity is the mother of invention. And so we have a chance to reinvent, to push and to evolve a system that will meet the needs of students right now. And they are complex. They've always been complex, but they're more complex, right? But I think that we can be we are equipped to do it. We are ready to do it. And with these incredible teacher prep programs and child development programs, we can meet this need with grace and with great success for our students, right? But there are some priorities, right? Focusing on participant-led and student-led learning, right? So how do we ensure that youth have voice, right? We've at Woodcraft Rangers, right, and expanded learning, that's always been youth. We actually operate by youth choice, youth voice, youth leadership. Whether that's giving options to young people so that they can explore interest and then discover what is their passion and what they want to contribute to the world. Whether it's middle grades being able to have input into the shape of those programs. At high school, right? In high school, we even let kids control budgets, right? Because we do believe that budgets are values. We let them make decisions about programmatic budgets. So centering those needs, deeply listening, obviously focusing on equity and inclusion right now, ensuring that we are putting the most resources where there is the most need. And there are investments that are more fluid and flexible heading into the system that will allow to include children in programs that haven't been able to be included before, right? I'm the mother of a neurodiverse son. And I'll tell you, my neurodiverse son, my son is on the autism spectrum, and he wouldn't be able to participate in the very after school programs that I provide because previous, right, traditional funding are a 1-to-20 ratio. And that's not something that he can do, right, without us being able to fund an additional support for him. So, but those things are changing with these investments. There's flexibility, and there's a possibility for us to really infuse resources in the places where they're most needed and supports to ensure access for all children in these programs. And of course, right, as we are emerging from this really multi-layered pandemic era, we need to focus. It's not that we have to focus on social emotionally and the whole child, right? We've learned that our children, right, they've always needed those supports. And I think child development specialists, right, that are in this room understand that. But being able to really integrate that into everything that's happening, because the truth is, right, your social and emotional health is not separate from the other parts of yourself. All of those pieces are swimming around in all of us all the time, and we can't separate them. But instead, we need to make sure that we are building those vessels so that our kids feel safe and strong and healthy, because they're not going to be able to learn until that, right? It's Maslow, right? We're going back to basics here. You mentioned family engagement, right? These programs that we're going to talk about, these investments, really treat families as partners, right? They give flexibility and choice to families to be able to make sure that families get what they need, right? We can look at some long-term goals and personalized learning, right? I know, Renee, you and I have talked before that you and I both believe that an education system where every child gets an IEP is the kind of education system that we dream of, right? So to be able to sit and design personalized goals for every child. And these are things that are really about to happen. Not necessarily an IEP meeting for every kid, but giving options to every child so that their experience is personalized, and a healing-centered approach. So I'm going to talk to you about how expanded learning can play a role in this. One of my all-time favorite quotes is, right, it's far easier to build strong children than repair broken men, Frederick Douglass. And I think as educators, we would all agree. The other thing is, right, this has to come with policy change on other levels like housing and wealth acquisition and those kinds of things that are going to rectify historic and pervasive inequities too, so that we stop traumatizing children, right? So that we move into giving safe and supportive environments to every child and what they need to be able to flourish. So this budget, right? So the state of California is putting significant investment in a couple of key areas that are building an ecosystem in and around the K-12 system to be able to focus more on the whole child. So many of you, right, I saw a lot of ECE folks in the chat. Universal pre-kindergarten is coming to California, right? I think it's a 5-year time horizon, but whether it's an in-home care or a center-based or a school-based, right, every child should have access to free pre-kindergarten in the next 5 years. The same with transitional kindergarten. Every child, every 4-year-old, not just late 4-year-olds, but early 4-year-olds and middle 4-year-olds, right, will have access to transitional kindergarten. And then in our lane, expanded learning opportunities program means that every child in the state of California will have access to quality after school programs, summer programs, and then and also potentially, right, additional holiday programs. So those are big changes, not to mention that there's also billions of dollars in the budget for community schools, which are going to provide holistic supports to schools as well, whether that's expanded learning or mental health supports or a variety of other things, right? So and then what's important to you is that there's teacher pipeline to make sure that we ready our teachers to be able to deliver in these exciting environments as well. So what will we need, right? What you'll see is a pervasive theme in all of these investments of community, right? We all need to come together to build these holistic, safe, robust, and supportive learning environments for our children. And that means expanded learning, linking arms with K-12 to make sure that what's being taught in the day is a complement to what's being taught in the afternoon. It means that families being engaged at every level so that their child's holistic needs are met. It means community-based organizations coming in to fill gaps where educators or expanded learning providers don't. It means aligning our teacher prep programs with expanded learning in K-12 to make sure that hands-on learning experiences complement the coursework that's already happening in teacher prep and early childhood programs. It's really about engaging the whole community, and each community is different. It's also about listening to each community to determine what their needs are and making sure that each community has the resources and the vision that's going to deliver excellence for their students and young people. It's about active and deep listening, right? Because every community is different. And because if we're going to really center the needs of students, we have to listen. We have to be present. We have to deeply listen to what students and families need and center them. And this is where teachers are all over all of these things, right? But teachers, right? Teachers, educators, mentors, school counselors, you are the closest to these voices. You hear everything, right, from these children, and your voices are going to be the ones that actually change and break through, right? So because what they're going to be telling you is what you're then going to uplift to change education to meet the needs of this generation. I'm also a big fan of Dolly Parton. I am a Southerner, but I think everyone's a fan of Dolly Parton. And she says we can't direct the wind, but we can certainly adjust the sails. And you as teachers have a chance to listen, to be responsive, and then to advocate for what your students need through those deep listening practices. This moment is going to take some courage, right? These are times where there isn't a playbook necessarily. There isn't even state guidance for things yet. And as educators, and those of you that are new educators or educator in training, I'm sure you'll learn about things like standards, right? You're learning about standards, and then veteran educators definitely understand state guidance, but there's no playbook right now. It's all being written, and you're part of what will write it, right? So you will determine, right? Your experiences will become proofs of concept. It will become models. It will become the written guidance when what you do works, because we will uplift the best practices of the field to determine what that means. But it takes a little courage, right? When the pandemic shut down schools in March of 2020, Woodcraft Rangers, in 2 weeks, we were texting 8,000 families at home activities because we knew that our families would be affected by the digital divide. And we knew that bandwidth wasn't available for many, or even space for a computer or computers themselves for many of the families we serve. We did know that our families have smartphones, right? So we were piping information, activities, lesson plans home to students to stay connected with them. We didn't ask permission. Right, we knew that we needed to stay tethered. We also in August of 2020, before any schools had reopened, we were on the ground doing those of you in childcare, you never closed, right? You never closed. You stayed open. Many of you, you continued throughout. And, you know, I remember in August of 2020, when we opened programs when there wasn't guidance, and we did it because we knew that there were kids who would not be safe at home. We did it out of absolute radical love. And I sat on a call with members of the CDE, and our fearless leader, Michael Funk, in Expanded Learning, he actually said, those of you who are already on the ground doing programs without guidance, and he paused and he said, thank you, right? These are the times that we have to step out, we have to have some courage, and we have to try new things, right? Because this world is full of new possibilities in education in California, but it's going to take a little bit of courage for us to try new things, and they just might work, right? So, but all of it, right? I think we have educators that begin, that always start with love, right? And I've got a great Bell Hooks quote, another one of my favorites here. If we give our children sound self-love, they'll be able to deal with whatever life puts before them, right? So we've got to focus on leading with love for our children and for ourselves, so that we are healthy enough vessels to be able to deliver for them, right? It's the old oxygen mask metaphor, right? That we have to be able to put on our own in order for us to be able to take care of others. And this is a time, right? It's as exciting as it is. We need to make sure that we're showing ourselves, our students, and our families radical love, because our children are going to need that to be able to center themselves, to exactly as Bell Hooks says, really embrace whatever the future brings for them, because much of it is unwritten. Well, all of future is unwritten, right? So. New expanded learning. So expanded learning in the Expanded Learning Opportunities program, there are a few key tenets that are different than past after school and expanded learning programs. One, it is universal access. The governor's vision is that every child, based on the particular needs of the student and family, have access to expanded learning programs after school and summer programs both. And before school, I think is part of it too. So universal, that means that, you know, not every child has to attend every day, but every child gets to attend as they and their family need. That is very, very different. And to give you a little perspective, right now, expanded learning historically it's been generous. California has always been a leader in investing in after school programs and expanded learning. But previously, about $400 million was the initial investment in the state of California. It rose by about $100 million over the years. But that's now almost $5 billion in the governor's budget to bring universal after school to every child in the state of California. And what can be done there, right, is that where I mentioned the youth-led and personalized, right? Right, in expanded learning, we can provide a variety of ways to explore, right? It's often where arts happen, it's where STEM programs happen, it's where leadership programs happen, it's where sports programs happen, and that can be personalized, right? At Woodcraft Rangers, we actually do a needs assessment at every site. So every one of our sites looks a little bit different, so that young people can explore their particular interests, and so that the culture and community of that school is represented in their programs, right? And we work with families as partners, right? And then again, back to the whole child, right? This is a real opportunity, this investment, to be able to center the whole child. So how does expanded learning and the next generation of educators work together, right? Expanded learning, with all of this investment and all of this universal access, it means a whole lot of new programs, right, for kids, which is fantastic, right? A lot more kids that are going to get those STEM programs and those arts programs and the sports programs, those leadership programs, outdoor education. But it also means that there's a lot of opportunity for teachers in training to have experiential learning experiences, experiential learning opportunities, right, and expanded learning. So working with us while you're in your training, or even, I mean, during the summer while you're an educator, right, will give you a chance to test out strategies from everything from techniques, building your toolbox, social, right? So understanding social and emotional learning as programs like ours, all of our activities are thousands and thousands of activities that would be available to teachers in training if they're working with us as well, are all aligned to the CASTLE framework, to the collaborative academic, social, and emotional learning framework. And while that's such a need right now, we in expanded learning programs can provide additional training, additional experiences, right? You can come to us, right, as a teacher in training and have a learning lab, right? Try out some of those strategies, teach in our bilingual education programs, teach in our STEM programs to learn, right? Learn about project-based, right? Practice project-based learning, practice your positive behavioral management. Renee, you've got your hand up. Do you need me to stop?
If you don't mind, I'm just going to chime in for one thing, Julie.
Yeah.
I just had a student and a mentor email me today saying the student really wants to get a chance to get to work with kids more. They're looking for volunteer opportunities. And I wrote back and I said, volunteer opportunities, why don't we get him a job? And she goes, oh, well, he's working in food service right now. Right now is the time to quit any other job that's outside of your education pathway, because there's so many career opportunities within education. You don't have to wait anymore, right, Julie? Like, and
right.
So I'm like, I want to be like, don't do food service. It's not, especially because the amount of money that you can make in expanded care and in these other education areas right now is surpassing what you can make if you can get a minimum wage job where you get tips. It's like we're able to pay you more right now. So
Right.
I wanted to say what you're saying right now is so relevant, because the moment you get in a classroom, the moment you get in a space with children, the amount that you learn is significant. Somebody in the chat just said, hey, like, do you have to have experience? Like, so can you get into that a little bit too? Because
Yeah,
you have this
absolutely.
perception like you need to already know everything.
Oh,
This is where you
right.
learn, right?
This is a training ground, right? This is a training ground. We have learning teams, right? We have a learning team. We have experienced site coordinators, right? That can help, right? That can help our new staff. We train you, but it's also a way that you can test strategies, right? You can test out what's happening in your coursework, right? And from a hands-on experience, and you're right, and be paid for it, right? So and we are, right? The wages in expanded learning have continued to increase and escalate over time. We are, right, this summer, our hourly rates are between $17 and $20 an hour, right? So you're getting, right, and I'm going to tell you, no offense to Target, right? But you're getting a lot more that's directly related to your career development than scanning, right? Or flipping burgers, right? So and we also have, and I'll talk to you a little bit too, right? We're educators too. So we look at our staff as part of our program as well, right? So we can align with your degree program. I think a lot of folks think that you can't work in expanded learning because of the schedules, but with this expansion, right, there's going to be a lot of different kinds of programs offered, and we're intentionally, and I think other expanded learning agencies too, we're intentionally working with your degree programs to make sure that we can align schedules, that we can look at what your current objectives are, and then we can align trainings, right? So that it can work as a cohesive unit, right? And then we focus on SEL, and I can't emphasize enough the importance of SEL right now, right? Of social emotional learning, especially as kids are coming back from such a complex and frankly, right, stressful time, right? So we go a step further at Woodcraft Rangers. We have a program called Lifecraft. So not only, right, do we have literally thousands of jobs that will get started in the summer, and I'll tell you about it in just a second. But we also focus on our staff, because we do believe that we need to provide the same level of care and development and focus on staff that we expect our staff to deliver to our students. Because just like that, right, we believe that we have to be strong and healthy and grounded in order to provide that same kind of regulated, robust, safe, and supportive environment to students. So we've developed a program called Lifecraft. It's actually very much intended, right, to work with students that are in teacher prep programs, that are in community college programs, that are in university programs, to make sure that you don't have to choose between life and school, school and work, which we know often happens. We have a healing-centered approach. It is equity focused. I'm a first-generation college student myself. It's a different experience when you don't have when you don't have models of how that happens. So we actually have in-house college and career counselors. Actually, the leader of this program, Dr. Barbara Ige, is here with us tonight. So Dr. Ige, she has 25 years leading first generation college students through from a counseling perspective, a college counseling perspective. And we are so lucky to have her in-house. So if you need guidance just on the personal things, right? Life can get in the way sometimes. How do I put together school and work? How do I, right? We offer financial planning. We also offer career planning, because trying to navigate, it's a nested system. It's a lot of decisions to make. It's a lot of things to figure out between community college and university programs and career planning and financial planning. Dr. Ige sits down with our staff and helps them set goals and then also map how to get to those goals. It also even includes emergency grants, because we know sometimes there was an article just this week, right? We know that sometimes a small fee or a textbook can get in the way from registering for the next set of classes, and it can derail your ability to complete your degree. And that's part of our program too, because we want you to achieve your goals. We want our staff to be able to achieve their goals, and we want great trained teachers in the classroom as soon as they can get there, because we need teachers right now, and we especially need teachers that represent our students. So we focus on social emotional learning. We provide the same kinds of support that we do for students for our staff. And then we also know that your goals don't happen overnight, just like our kids' goals don't happen overnight. So our Lifecraft program stays with you until your goals are complete, or as long as you are an employee of Woodcraft Rangers, and they're personalized. Dr. Ige and her team sits down with every staff member who enrolls in the Lifecraft program and maps out those personal plans that I mentioned that include all of those components, and making sure that we can be proactive about aligning your school and your work, and that we are always, just like we are youth-led in this program, we are participant-led too. It is your goals, right? We just want to help you get there, whether that's your child development degree, your teacher credential, your school counselor, certification, any of those pieces. The path is really up to you. And that's the Woodcraft mission, that we guide young people as they explore pathways to purposeful lives. And that's true in our opinion of our staff too, right? We all have goals and deserve the supportive systems that make those goals reality. So you're right, Renee. We have a lot of jobs. We've got a lot of jobs and a lot of chances for you to test out those project-based, test out emergent curriculum with your early learners, practice project-based learning opportunities, right? You want to learn how to integrate arts into your classroom and be ready for that when you the first day of it, right? A lot of learning for teachers happens while they're in the classroom. This is a chance for you to learn that, to get those kinks out, to test out things in an environment that is designed for that. And then when you got your classroom on the first day, you'll have your toolkit, you'll have your experience, you'll be confident going into the classroom, right? Because you've had the opportunity to really try those things out. So expanded learning can be a learning lab for future educators. So I've added here, we are not the only one that's hiring this summer, but you're exactly right, Renee. Why not spend your summer getting paid for basically training that's going to set you up to be a more confident and experienced teacher on day one. So, or for current teachers, just to hone additional skills. We welcome current teachers as well. So I'm happy to answer questions, but that's what I've got tonight, Renee. I really appreciate the invitation and allowing me to share a little bit about what I think is a really exciting moment in California for us to be able to center the whole child and for the system to work together, for us to all link arms in support of a truly transformational moment for California children.
Julie, thank you so much. I want to clap, but I know, but you know what? Let's clap. I don't care if people are muted or whatever. Let's give Julie a round of applause for being an outstanding keynote. I love too that literally people are like, oh, I have claps in the chat. I love that people are like, oh my gosh, where can I get this information right now? There's so many aspects to being in the virtual space that are really cool. And so it looks like a lot of people want to be hired by Woodcraft. Actually, Julie, could we go to a couple minutes of Q&A? I know we've got to get to drawing, but there's a couple people.
Happy to do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So if you've got a question, raise your hand and let us know, and then we'll go ahead and have you unmute. Also, you're in LA County. You have how many sites do you have right now, Julie?
The Woodcraft Rangers, we have 85 sites throughout. So I'll pretty much, if you're in LA County, we have a site near you. We do we have a hyper local staffing strategy. So we really like for staff to come from the communities where our schools are. And you know, none of us like traffic, so that also helps, right? But we do really think that that's important. But we have, right, I see a lot of community colleges represented here, and I know we have schools that are in close proximity to many of those as well.
Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and ask Lily Martinez to unmute and ask your question. And then after Lily, we'll go to Paige.
Yes, hi. So I wanted to know, to what capacity do you guys partner with or other organizations?
Yeah, we do partner with other organizations. So we operate programs on 85 sites, but we often bring in what we refer to them as push-in programs. So art specialists, STEM specialists. Is that your question, Lily? Like content providers?
Well, about 22 years ago, I started an educational nonprofit organization. And during this time, we've just been building that side a little more. We actually just went out to the streets and did a lot of more resources and food and all that sort of thing for the pandemic. But we did a lot of non-traditional classes, you know, rise on real estate, just different trades and whatnot for youth. And so we want to step it up a notch, or more than a notch. And we like to partner with organizations. That's really how we like to, you know, mobilize ourselves. But I think moving forward, I just wanted to know the different capacities that you guys get together and partner with other organizations that definitely want to take it to the next level.
Yeah, it definitely really depends on what right, just like I mentioned, each school is designed a little bit differently, but we have community partnerships with every school and every neighborhood where we are. So if you want to, I'll put my email in this chat as well. And then you're welcome to send me a note and I can get it to the right person on our team.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent. I believe Paige has a question as well.
Hi. I am in the process of building up and starting my own summer program for education. And I was wondering if you have any programs that help people who are like starting small businesses, or if you have any advice just in general for people who are just starting out and maybe a smaller program.
Sure. Good question. We're a nonprofit provider, right? So we work with school districts. That's interesting. We don't do capacity building with other agencies. However, what I would suggest is have you run summer programs, Paige? Have you? Yeah. So that's the way that I learned, right? I worked with other agencies and then moved into, right. But we don't do capacity building per se for other agencies. But I would also send you to LACO has an expanded learning division, maybe doing some of their technical assistance in their workshops. They're doing a lot of summer planning. So that might be something that you think about. A lot of great. And then because there's also going to be a lot of need for these programs. So I think there's a lot of space for a lot of providers right now. So I would also mention CAN or CalSAC at the state level. So the California After School Network, or the California School Aged Consortium. Those often have great trainings for providers as well, just to kind of, and then work with your school districts, right? So if you're interested too. Hopefully that was helpful, Paige.
Paige, also, if you have a chance when you're done, like if you could either message me or email me what location you're at, I might have another resource for you, depending on where you live exactly. Okay. Awesome. Any other questions? Well, thank you so, so much, Julie. That was really exciting. I think to me, one of the most exciting pieces is that there's opportunities like right now. There's always this perception that education is like later, and that, you know what I mean? Like a career is later, and that we just have jobs right now. One of my very good friends used to talk about how a job is you're just over broke. That's what it stands for. J-O-B, I'm just over broke. And he used to say, get into on your pathway, find a career in your pathway, or find an employment in your pathway, because that's not just a paycheck. That's not just clocking in. That's about learning for your future and gaining the skill set for your future. So everybody who's on right now, this is about a career, and your career can start right now. And I'm totally biased though, because I started in expanded care. I started as a counselor with children. And I will tell you, and I probably shouldn't say this, it's going to be bad to say it, I'm going to. I learned so much more during those 3 years than I did in my formalized programs where I was getting the education. Being on the floor with children and being with families and engaging, man, that was the way to learn. And so get into, like, meet with Julie and meet with Barbara and their crew. If this is not the right opportunity, look for something else. If you're interested in working in the field of education right now, speak to us. We are here to be resources, and we are here to help you on your pathway. One of the reasons why we all do this is because we had so many glitches in our pathway. We had pathways that should have taken 3 or 4 or 5 years and took 9 years, 8 years, and we don't want that for the next generation. Julie, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say too, those of you in early ed programs and child development programs and early childhood programs, there is, right, after school, right, has been limited in those ages. That's changing, right? The new expanded learning opportunities program actually sets up all after school for kinder and TK to be a 1-to-10 ratio. We are really excited about that. And also with the addition of transitional kindergarten. So if you're early childhood, there's more opportunity for these jobs than there ever have been before in summer and after school. And we're going to need you. We need you. We need folks that are specialists in early learning to be able to build out fantastic programs for that age as well. So I just wanted to, that's new. Like a lot of this is new, right?
So much of it is happening right now. It's great for everybody who's on, honestly, because once you're part of like Teach for LA, you'll get different opportunities emailed to you saying, hey, is this something that you're interested in? I'm going to tell everybody who's on right now, we received some additional unexpected funding for this spring. We have an entire calendar packed with expert training for April and May. We had to spend everything out by the middle of May. And so you should see what Teach for LA has coming up and the region. So please know there's even more good things happening. I see we've got a couple more questions. I'm going to go ahead and ask everybody, any more questions, please put them in the chat, because we want to make sure that we can get everything completed with our opportunity drawing and everything coming up tonight. But we also want to make sure that we get to your questions as well. So please make sure to include them there. Rosa, I also see that you said, does it matter if we have a physical limitation? Each job, each career pathway, they will have descriptions that will include what those physical requirements are. So there are some positions that there may be an issue with, or maybe a challenge with your physical limitation. There are other positions that absolutely would have the accommodations made for you to be successful. And I know that for a fact. One of my future teachers that I trained many, many years ago, or had the opportunity to help with her training, she was losing her eyesight while she was in our program. So she had to prepare to, how can I be a blind educator? Or how can I be an educator while being blind and still have a career? And so we helped strategize early on to get the resources in place. And she's an elementary school teacher in LA Unified right now, and has been for years. So there's always to make it work. There's enough positions that there's something for everyone. And we just want to make sure people know that. Do not be afraid. Instead, come out and ask us, so that way we can always help you. Rosa, my sister, actually is a 8th grade teacher, and she was in a major car accident where her arm was smashed. And so she has severe limitations with her right arm, and she has had no issues being an 8th grade teacher. Her school does accommodations as needed, and other support personnel help her when needed. So please reach out to us if we can be of help, because by all means, we want to be of help. So with that, Julie, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited that you've got another session coming up later on in Teach for LA. So it'll be great for people to have another opportunity to meet you and work with you and your staff. So thank you so much, Julie.
Thank you so much for having me. We really appreciate it. I think it's an exciting moment in education, and it's going to take all of us working in community to deliver. So thank you so much. So have a great rest of the conference, and I'll see some of you tomorrow. So
excellent.
all right.
Thank you. So that we are going to go into our opportunity drawing. We've got a lot of questions in the chat. Please stay with us. We'll try to get to them if we have time. If not during tonight, we'll try to answer them throughout the course of the conference. So Leah, do you have everybody who is currently in the Wheel of Names?
Okay, right now we have 187 names, and
Okay.
we have 225 people in the room.
Uh-oh, is there anybody else that needs to add themselves? Because you got to do it right now if you're going to. Okay, you can't add yourself in the chat. You need to go to the form and put your name into the form. The form takes all of the names, put them into an Excel spreadsheet. We take the Excel spreadsheet and put them into the Wheel of Names. So please, please, please go ahead and do that.
I just put the form again on the chat.
I'm sorry, what, Yadira?
I just put the form again on the chat.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, and Megan, are you good to bring up the PowerPoint that's got all the different items that people can win?
Do you want me to show it when the wheel's on? How does that work?
I'm thinking we'll toggle between, so that way we'll have one with that. And then
Sure.
Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. Yes, Floor, let me go ahead. Yadira just shared the link. We will do it one last time. Uh-oh, shoot. Actually, when I shared it there, it didn't work. So let me go and get it one last time, and then we're going to close it. Also,
am I sharing the right screen?
Oh, thank you, Bobby. She already shared it. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Also, just so everybody knows, on the opportunity drawing on Wednesday, we will absolutely have to be stricter about when we close it, because we've got quite a few more items. So, okay, let's go ahead. And Leah, do you have everything up in the wheel?
Okay, people are still signing in. So did you want to close it, Renee?
Yeah, let's go ahead and close it.
I think you have to close it because it's
okay. Let me go ahead. I'm officially okay. We have 204 responses. We are no longer officially accepting any more responses for this one, but for the next one we will. So as we're getting this wheel up, just a couple quick reminders. Later, when we stop tonight, I will probably stop for a few minutes before I send out the links to everybody for tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. I love that people have been emailing me during the conference. Since we started at 5:30, so in an hour and 20 minutes, we've added an additional 14 people to the Teach for LA conference. We will continue to add people up until the very last moment on the Wednesday night. So if you have any friends or colleagues who would like to join us, as I've said it before, I will say it again, we are an inclusive group. We're here for you. Please go ahead and shoot me an email. We will absolutely add you. Okay, Leah, are you ready with the Wheel of Names?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay, now when you see this, couple bits of knowledge for everybody here. First of all, when you see the Wheel of Names, please don't panic if for some reason you don't see your name. We literally have taken every single name from that database that you made with that form and have put it on here. Another piece too, you can win once, that's it tonight. Can you win again on Wednesday? Absolutely. But in tonight's opportunity drawing, you get one shot to win. If for some reason your name is called more than once, you will get your first prize, and then that we will do another spin to give it to somebody else, because we want to make sure as many people as possible get a chance to get items. Let's see, any other, Megan or Leah, any other things about the wheel that we need to remind everybody?
So only one person gets to win, right? One prize, right?
Yes, one person per prize.
Per prize, yes.
Yes, one person, and then just once for tonight.
All right, that's a lot of names, Renee.
I know it's exciting. Okay, Megan, let's see. What is our first prize that we have this evening?
I have to wait for the other screen. So let me take it over. The first prize is a wellness basket from Renee Marshall Education.
Okay, you guys, I'm totally into wellness and trying to have a balanced life as much as possible. I think somebody unmuted if somebody could make thank you. And so this one is like really fun. There's a cute notebook to write in. There's adult coloring book. There's all sorts of cool little fidgets. There's a Go Fish game. There's just all sorts of goodies for whoever gets this one. So, okay, shall we go to the Wheel of Names and see who the first winner is tonight? Drum roll.
All right, this is for the first winner.
I love the Wheel of Names. And wait till it totally stops, everybody. The Wheel of Names tells us who the winner is. We've learned that over the years.
Carmen! Is Carmen here?
Thank you.
Oh, she's here.
Excellent. Congratulations, Carmen.
Thank you so much.
Now, Carmen, just so you know, I probably will not get to the mail to mail everything till Thursday. So anticipate that your package will probably arrive either Saturday or the following Monday. Okay, my friend?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Megan, let's see. And Leah, let's see what's next. Also, as Megan's pulling this up, just an FYI, everybody, the Wheel of Names is a free online service. It's wonderful. It doesn't, as far as I know, I don't see any ads or anything. We've used it multiple times. A really cool thing about the Wheel of Names, you can literally have like 3 or 4 names on it. It doesn't have to be 200. So it really handles any quantity. So it's great to use for people of all ages. Okay, what do we have next?
$15 Subway gift card from Cerritos
Woo!
College.
Excellent. Who wants to eat fresh at Subway? We've got $15 coming in from Cerritos College for Subway. Leah, who's our winner for this next one?
Here we go.
Drum roll. Priscilla Flores. Priscilla, are you here right now?
Yeah. Sorry, my phone died, so I'm with my cousin right now. Sorry.
Oh, excellent. So you're in custody?
Yeah.
Awesome, Priscilla. We are thrilled that you are here tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You bet. I know we've got another item, but I also see a couple people in the chat talking about what's required to be a teacher's assistant. You would be surprised. It's not that much that's required to be a TA in a K through 12 classroom. Usually doesn't even require any sort of specific degree. There's usually a test you have to take, but even right now, some of the districts are simplifying the test. If you are interested in becoming a teaching assistant, please shoot me an email because there may be districts right next door that are hiring right now, and we want to help you get employed. Okay, so what do we have next?
Next is the second wellness basket from Renee Marshall Education.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this. As everybody knows, I love wellness and I love giving away stuff. And I have my own little company, so I get it myself for the goodies. So, okay, so we've got some Sudoku, we've got journaling, we've got word searches. There's a cool little puzzle activity for your classroom. Some more, what are they called? Different fidgets and things to relax yourself. Also, I found crayons that smell like Airheads candy. And one of the ways that you ground yourself through wellness is through your 5 senses and making sure that if you're in a moment of panic or anxiety, you stop and you smell, you stop and you hear, you stop and you look. And so while the Airheads crayons, you know, at first I kind of smiled, I thought, wow, if somebody's feeling a little anxious and they sit down to color, just the smell that comes from the crayons might relax them. So anyways, kind of out of the box, but that's what teachers have to be. So who do we have as a winner here?
All right, let me pull the wheel. Here we go, our third winner.
Drum roll. Julie Gomez. Julie, are you here right Okay, Julie, can you unmute or give us an indicator that you are here, please?
She put it on the chat. She's here.
Oh, excellent, excellent, Julie. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Congratulations, Julie. Yay, you are the winner. I love opportunity drawing. I think it's so much fun. That's why I want to do it every time we're together. Okay, what do we have next? I think, do we have one or two more items? Ooh, look at that.
Next up is a $25 Amazon gift card from Yadira at El Camino.
Nice. Excellent. Thank you so much, Yadira. Thank you, El Camino College. And let's see who is going to get that $25 gift card. I think you need, Megan, I'm seeing your PowerPoint, so I think you need to unshare so Leah can bump on. Awesome. Thank you.
And here's the wheel for our fourth winner.
Drum roll. Abigail Ortiz. Congratulations, Abigail. Are you on right now? Let's go ahead.
She's
I
not.
don't see her name in the chat.
I don't
She's
see.
not listed in the participants.
Oh, she's not currently listed?
Nope.
Okay, then it looks like we will need to do again. We will need to spin again.
Let's spin again.
Okay, let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. Masha, Masha, are you on right now? Congratulations.
She's not on the participants either.
Uh-oh, 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 okay. This is when everybody gets real. They're like, we're clocking participants. The person's not here. Next person. That's how it goes. It says everywhere you have to be present in order to win. So let's go to the next person.
Here's the next one.
And Renee, there'll be two more after this.
Excellent.
Leslie.
Let's see. Leslie Guevara.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, go Leslie. Go Leslie. That's
Thank
exciting.
you.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You got the $25.
I love it.
it.
Okay, now I see some people saying, like, I'm hoping I'm going to win. I hope you win too. We don't have enough for everybody, but I also hope that the content that we help to give in the next couple of days will be worth it as well, because we really have some great stuff. Okay, now this one, I'm praying an early childhood educator gets this. And the reason why is, for those of you who are in early childhood education, you probably know who Jan Brett is. She's very, very, very famous. She made the gingerbread baby. She's made the mitten. I can't even tell you how many different books Jan has made. The Turnip, like all these very cute books. I had the opportunity to meet Jan, and when I had the opportunity to meet her, I brought an entire stack of early childhood education books, all brand new. And I said, Jan, I work with future teachers. Can you please sign these so that way over the years I can give them out? And so I'm really excited that these are, this is not something I have a lot of anymore. This is I have one more book from her and that's it. So this is the end of what I have. So 2 brand new books signed by the author, Jan Brett. She's very famous in early care. I can't wait.
Renee, why are you?
No, Yadira, I almost messaged you saying, should I put this or should I give these to you?
I would have said no. Do not. No. I hope anybody wins it. If you're in early childhood education, you need it. They're wonderful books.
They're wonderful books. Okay, let's see who wins this one, and then we're getting very close to the end, everybody.
Our 5th winner.
Ruth Salas.
Oh my God.
Ruth is the winner. Ruth, are you here right now?
Yes.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you. I literally put in the chat. Oh my God.
Was meant to be. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now I think we have, is there one more item, Megan?
Yes, there is one more. So let's get that going.
Well, and we need to let everybody know, first of all, before we do our last item here, make sure to come back. We've got so much good stuff planned for tomorrow and Wednesday. It's really going to be a dynamic conference. I shared with you all the different sessions that are coming, but I have to point out on Wednesday from 5:30 to 7, we have our closing session, and we have California's 2022 Teacher of the Year, Alondra Diaz, as our keynote. It's going to be a really special night. I really hope that you can join us. And I'm very torn on this, and my colleagues know. We planned this for months and months and months and months. And I love opening and closing because it's my nature to be here and want to be with you. And about a week ago, my children's school contacted us and saying, we're doing open house on Wednesday, the 23rd. And I was so torn because as a mom, you want to be there for your children's open house. And as a professional, you want to be here for closing night. And my colleague said, Renee, it's a no-brainer. We have been away from our kids' schools for 2 years. You need to be at open house. So I'm sorry I won't be with everybody on Wednesday night, but I promise you I will absolutely be there in spirit. But I'm going to be on my kids' open house, seeing what their high school looks like and meeting their high school teachers for the very first time face-to-face. And so I'm sorry I won't be here, but I think everybody who's on here will absolutely understand my rationale for this. But so please join us for the rest of the conference. The rest of the team will be here on Wednesday night. We will be partying. We will be excited for the whole thing. I will see all of you almost at every single session on Tuesday and Wednesday. I will be at as many as possible. But with that, let's get ready to go to our last prize for tonight. And it's a special one.
Woohoo!
We have it. Oh, go ahead, Megan.
Oh, sorry. Teacher basket from Woodcraft Rangers.
And I'm so excited that Woodcraft, they're giving us a basket that's going to be similar to what you see here. It won't be exact, so that's why I put items will vary. But I want to give just a shout out to Julee Brooks and her crew for being generous with their time and also with their resources. And for most importantly, helping to hire our future teachers. That's what's so important. So let's see what we've got as our teacher basket winner. And then we'll wrap for tonight. So Leah, who's going to be our winner?
And this is for our last winner.
Drum roll. Khalees Jimons. I hope I'm saying that correct. Khalees, are you on right now?
Yeah, I'm here. It's Jimin. They were close enough. That's fine.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I was off on that.
Okay.
Congratulations. Yay!
Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, everybody, we are so excited to do another Teach for LA together. And we're most excited that you're here. Your participation is absolutely key to this conference and to the success of the teaching profession. So thank you so much. We are looking forward to a fantastic week. Please make sure you take your picture and show us who you are and unmute and engage in the chat. And we're here for you. If any of you send a message and we don't follow up, just email us directly because we have lots and lots of chats that we're going to be looking through after the conference. But thank you so much. It's a wonderful night. Thank you so much for being here. And we are excited for the rest of the Teach for LA. So have a great night, everybody. We will see you first thing in the morning. Tomorrow's a long one. Bring snacks, prepare yourself, and jump in for every single session that your schedule allows. Have a great night, everybody, and we will see you soon. We'll see you at Teach for LA later this week. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow in the morning, everybody. Have a great night.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, Jennifer.